pretty predictable. It's got to be said that Glory said he would ask if his manga was still around 100 years later, and the rest all just asking if that was Hearthstone still around. I'm not entirely sure what my answer would be. Yeah, what would yours be, Gia? If you woke up in 100 years' time, what would your first question be?
Am I the Avatar? He
Oh,
was asleep for 100 years.
good
right?
one. Good one. Okay, yeah, good point. I'm going to take that one too. That would also be my one. But moving on to
copying
this series.
my homework.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm the Avatar. I can do what I want. It is the final matchup for today for Asia Pacific, and we did a little bit of a maths, figured out the standings in the break. And basically what we figured out is for both of these players, if they lose, they are out of contention for top 8 to get into Division A come next week. Again, blitzchung has to win the entire tournament this week if he wants to get into top 8. But for DawN, if he wins, he is in, and if he loses, he is out. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and the one player who is all part of this story, but maybe not mentioned because he's not actually in top 8 this week, is Chonsu. Lorinda called him a sitting target, which is basically very accurate because he's no longer able to adjust his score since he's not made it to top 8. But other people's scores will affect whether or not he's 8th place in Division A or 1st place in Division B, which is all the difference in the world.
That's right. It is a bit of a difficult situation for Chonsu to be in right now. I think I'd rather be in the driver's seat actually playing the series to decide whether or not I make it through to top 8. But he's just going to have to sit there watching, praying that that DawN does not take the win here. Because again, if DawN takes the win, it absolutely locks up top and bottom division. So just for the point of drama, I kind of hope that blitzchung is able to take the win here, so that there's still some potential for different players to make it through to the top 8, and of course for blitzchung to just go all the way for the win.
Sure, it would be quite a story, wouldn't it? And to be fair to Chonsu, it's not like this is an unfamiliar spot to be in. If I recall, one of the top storylines from our old system of HCT was how Tyler and Rivius were kind of helping each other out. Like Rivius hoping that Tyler gets in to Worlds through both points and through seasonal championship, so that one slot would open up for Rivius. It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it does indeed. There's been players helping out their friends by trying to win as many games as possible. Like we saw, Alutimu was pretty much locked into top 8 as soon as Glory took his first 2 wins here this week. But that is all besides the point now. Right now, we just need to drill down on this matchup, Gia. And we have, yet again, the Paladin, Shaman, and Druid left up for both sides. What a terrible decision to leave up the best deck in the game, Druid. Am I right, Gia?
You're absolutely right. I'll allow you to copy my homework this time because Druid has just had a 100% win rate today. What can I say? Speaking of other good decks, though, it can be argued that the Priest and the Mage are still decks that, if they could be banned, if you had 8 bans, you could do those as well. But yeah, Priest, I think, has been performing pretty well for blitzchung in particular. With all of the AoE, it seems well positioned to deal with Shaman and Paladin.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yes, we just got the confirmation that it's going to be blitzchung on the Priest and DawN on the Paladin, I believe. I'm just going to jump over to blitzchung's Priest to see what we are looking at in terms of the tech decisions, because I think one of the main things that can really make a difference is Moarg Artificer in these matchups I was going to say for the Galakron Priest, but yet again, blitzchung has the Res Priest here, as opposed to the slightly more anti-aggro, I suppose I would call it, Galakron Priest. But I think either way, this Res Priest is going to be a very powerful deck in this series because it still has, like you were saying, the 2 damage AoE in the form of Breath of the Infinite and the Holy Nova as well. And also just looking at how it performed earlier today, all the taunts are just insane.
Blitzchung is also just cutting from all of the possible single target removal, which deals damage, which is 2 Holy Smite, 2 Penance. He's only running 1 Holy Smite, but that's already more than enough, I would say, to be able to deal with aggro. It seems that Priest has really come a long way with how it deals with minions. Back in the day, it could only remove minions based on their attack with Shadow Word, Pain, or Forbidden Words, but now they're actually dealing damage.
Yeah, they really are. I definitely agree. It's a big boon, and one of the reasons why I do like the Galakrond version, because it allows you to play the Moarg Artificer, which is such an insane combo, especially against a lot of the breakpoints nowadays. I feel like 2 is good against a little bit more of the top end of decks, like Demon Hunter, 2 damage is insane. Against Warrior, it's often very powerful after they go for a big sweeping turn with the Risky Skipper. Against the Totem Shaman and the Zoo, I feel like often you need a little bit more, up to 4 damage, to get rid of the Totemic Reflections and the buffed minions off the Scrap Imp. But against Paladin that we see here, I think the Breath of the Infinite could be insane against all these murks.
And so are the Bone Wraith and Penance, just to have, keeping the Penance makes sure he can deal with wide boards and also with single targets. Bone Wraith that blitzchung can at least develop something if he has a turn that's kind of slow. I only really want to toss the Galakrond from this hand. That's so weird, right? Usually you want to keep Galakrond, but in this particular matchup, might be a little too slow. Psychopomp as well.
Yeah, very, very powerful indeed. Obviously, it's not, like, perfect. Sorry, because obviously you give Reborn to a minion that has Reborn. You can't get it twice, unfortunately, for blitzchung. But it's still, I think, probably going to be at least enough to fight back, if not win the game on the spot. Especially when Fish Flinger just gives the answer to kill itself.
This Fish Flinger did not want to stay here for this series.
There's a talking point here, though, right? Bluegill enters the death pool. Is it still worth it?
Absolutely. I feel like if blitzchung gets a Mass Resurrect off, he's well ahead in the series.
What about Psychopomp, though?
Oh, okay. Fine. But you're still resurrecting a minion with Charge and Reborn in that case.
That's pretty nuts,
like
actually.
It's a scuffed Restless Mummy. Isn't that good?
That is a Giga Scuffed Restless Mummy, but I see your point.
In this case, though, I was going to say I was looking at the coin Bone Wraith, but sure, Penance frees up a turn 4 into coin Cartoot if he wants it.
Yeah, I really like holding onto the coin here, like you said, for Cartoot. And also, potentially there's some kind of Archmage play you can make a little bit later on with Breath of the Infinite. So, and man, oh man, is this an ugly turn for DawN. Felfin just gets Psychopomp throwing 2 Bluegill Warriors at it.
Are we going to see that, though? I don't mind just Bone Wraith as well. Yeah. Because it's also worth noting that if you kill off 2 more Bluegills, that really messes with the res pool.
Hungry Crab potentially has value against blitzchung, of course, with the res on Bluegill. To be honest, I think that's probably not going to come up, though.
I'm just looking at War Leader plus the Henchtan Hogsteed. Problem taking the trade there would put the Felfin to 2 health. And anything from DawN is that he's very, very meticulous about how he plays around Priest AoE. So maybe he actually goes for the other Felfin here.
It doesn't really do much better, though. Like, it still ends up putting 1 to 2 health. Yeah, I just think it's much weaker overall.
Right. You see it. Going for a different line altogether, just leaving the Bone Wraith, setting up for a better War Leader. I think this is very characteristic of DawN's view on the matchup, which I like. So we could be looking at a Penance and Vargoth play. Of course, it's only 50-50 to repeat it, but it's likely to land on, I don't know, also 50-50 if he kills the 2-3, right?
I kind of want to go for Archmage Renew on this turn because it guarantees you 2 spells, and then you very possibly have an Archmage next turn, which allows you to go for double Breath of the Infinite to clear up the board. I don't know. Maybe that just doesn't get enough value out of Renew, but you could obviously value trade and then heal up your Bone Wraith.
A good spot. I think your play was better than mine. What blitzchung ended up going for was completely different altogether, which I'm also not sure how I feel about it because he's not getting any heal off the Cartoot, and the Cartoot, at least the first half, dies very easily to the 4-6.
For sure.
But he might just be doing all this to set up for the mega clear of Breath of the Infinite plus the 1 in 3 bluegill from Psycho.
Oh my god. Or if he wants to play like a normal human being, Vargoth Breath of the Infinite, which would do 4 damage AoE and probably win the game on the spot.
That's
boring.
7 mana though.
It's 7 mana either way, right? With Psychopomp Breath.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right.
You can copy my homework, Gia, by being wrong in this instance.
Okay, DawN finally has to set up a board, which, to be fair, 60% of it dies to Breath of the Infinite, but the remaining 4% deal 40% deals 9 damage.
Whoa.
Wow!
Yeah, I think even though I still am not convinced either way on the last turn from blitzchung, I didn't necessarily hate going for his line over Vargoth Renew. I really like doing this on this turn. I really want blitzchung to set up Vargoth Breath on 7, which will, I think, if not win him the game on the spot, actually I'm just going to say, I think that will just win him the game on the spot. I think that's so powerful. The only out there would be like McGurgle Prime off the top.
I agree. So he's reaching for the Shadow Word Death. I like it. Onto the 5/4. And it's worth noting blitzchung played the Psychopomp when all of the outcomes were at least okay, because against this board full of 2 health minions, even the bluegill would have been fine. So we can go for leader. No matter which way you slice it, it's going to be an awkward trade into the second half of the cartoon. So
I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 options here, well, I feel like Soul Mirror just blows you out no matter what you do, so you kind of have to pretend they don't have the Soul Mirror. And thereafter, you can say, do I play around that 2 damage AoE, or do I just pretend they don't have it? It's approaching the point where I think it would be too devastating if they have it at all. Maybe it's not quite there yet. So he is going to trade away all his 2 health guys.
Very consistent from DawN.
Very consistent, I agree. But it is not going to matter one whit, as blitzchung has the incorrectly ordered Archmage Vargoth. Don't think it will matter. But it does mean he's left with a 2/2 instead of a 2/4.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, but maybe it'll die to a weapon.
Or another bluegill. Nope.
Reporting for duty.
All of these games, outside of one Paladin mirror and I think the Mage versus Shock from Frosty and blitzchung, all of these games today have been quite one-sided. But it's not for, it's not that they've been easy though, because the pan out of being one-sided is only achieved after blitzchung
For sure.
really played the early games carefully, early turns.
Hey!
He's done it.
Why is he hanging his head? That's the best outcome by miles. Don't question it. Oh, no, wait. Order, lol.
Yeah, I guess. Imagine, everybody knows the old Murloc Tidecaller into Psychopomp for Bluegill combo.
It's
Basic
just
things,
obvious.
but come on.
Yeah, there's no comeback there for DawN. Even with hero power, Hand of Adal, he's just going to throw it down. blitzchung, as I think we both expected, taking the win with the Priest. It's just far and away the best of the suite of classes that aren't being removed at the moment, especially when you look at it in the context of what classes are left against Shaman and Paladin in particular. This Priest deck is just devastating. It feels so slim that they have any chance of winning.
Just a question now of whether blitzchung thinks the Druid also falls in that category of just like, compared to the rest of the decks, isn't this just a lot stronger? We saw him queue it up in the last series versus Frosty I wouldn't be surprised to see him play it again.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming around to your point of view, Gia. It feels like even though, if you want to get kind of, I don't know, take a more romantic view to it, like it should be weak. But if you look at it in like a more kind of like cold hard view, it just is better than the aggro decks. Like even though the Druid should be losing to these Murloc and Totem aggro decks, it's just ramping up so quickly. It has the removal it needs, and even if it's not teched especially well to beat them, it's still in a good spot. And having said that, I think blitzchung's is very well teched to beat the aggro decks when you factor in the what has he got there? The Moonfires in addition to the Starfall. Sorry, the copy of Starfall.
Yeah, the Starfall
which
is
puts him in a good spot.
Yeah, Starfall is the only tech I would say for aggro, because for the most part he's still running similar lists to what we saw from the Japanese players last week. The Sarah at the top end, kind of greedy against aggro and not run these. But I still think that the deck is strong enough even without all of that anti-aggro tech, because the core deck runs removal.
Yeah.
And I don't know about your definition of romantic, because that's not how I would assume it means, like to say that a deck looks weak, but sure.
Well, no, I mean, like you're looking at not in the way it actually is, but I don't know. It's kind of like more of a chess term, I think. But either way, it basically just means I want to believe that Druid should be weak against it, because I feel like that's how the matchups should work. But in reality, it's just not that weak to these aggro decks. I agree, having taken a bit more of a look at it.
So what you're saying is I have converted you from a hopeless romantic into a cold-hearted, logical human being.
That's exactly what you've done, Gia. I am an automaton and nothing more, cold to my core like a tin man at this point. But cold and brutal as I am, I'm going to send you all away to a break before we finish this final series for today. It's going to be a good one. blitzchung versus DawN will continue after this.
Oh, I didn't like the sound of that. Oh, God.
Oh, look, I'm on camera. What a surprise. We're back with the rest of this series between blitzchung and DawN. Just wanted to catch us out there, keep us on our toes. Nice job, producer. Appreciate that completely on purpose throw there. But we are going to jump into blitzchung versus DawN. As I was saying, the final series of the day here and the decider match for both of these players. If either of them lose, they are out of contention for Division A come next week. If blitzchung wins, he is not guaranteed. He still has to go on to win the entirety of the tournament on Sunday, or the entirety of this week, which kind of functions like a mini tournament. But DawN, however, if he wins, is guaranteed locked in Division A, and Chonsu and Chonsu and blitzchung are both left without a chance.
Right, a win and in for DawN and a high stakes match for blitzchung either way. I do like the sound of that, Derek. And speaking of other things, I like the sound of druids on both ends still available. I would like to see a druid mirror, Derek.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Gia. A druid mirror. Oh, I can stomach watching druid. Okay, it's cool to watch them do these powerful plays. I loved watching blitzchung play it earlier. But the mirrors, Gia, come on. Have some respect.
All right. Hear me out. One of them is playing Starfall, so the mirror isn't as one-sided as you might think, but it will not be a mirror here. However, a druid is online for blitzchung. He's a believer. I respect that.
And one of the things I'd actually be kind of curious about here in the mulligan is specifically Scale Lord. I think in this matchup, or I mean, I don't know, really any matchup, I feel like this is far and away the most powerful thing you can do. Obviously, it's quite far down the line in terms of an aggro deck. But if you can coin that out, or even hit it on turn 5 on a big board, there's just very little that the druid can do at all. Maybe it's a win more card. Maybe he should focus more on going for the early game as he has done. But I think it's a point of contention.
Point of contention, but I do think the point you make is, I'll use the new word you taught me, a bit romantic. I think it's kind of an ideal situation to hope that you even stick enough minions. I think at best it would land on 2 Murlocs by then, because Druid is running just a fair amount of removal in the base deck, even without all of the tech inclusions. blitzchung still has the double Moonfires, Crystal Powers, Wraths, and Fog Beams, so I think it's fine to toss it.
DawN here kind of going very much all in, hoping to stick a minion for Hand of Adal, no matter what. Because obviously, if he'd just gone with the Mermy, Hero Power, Moonfire could have taken it out. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced by that play. It's a lot of resources for not much attack power gain.
It's true. And now he's kind of put himself in a weird spot. I was thinking that it would still be the Hand of Adal there.
Same.
At least he could have buffed and had a 3-4 minion at the end, and the 4 health is the break point where it starts to get awkward for Druid.
Right. It's not like he got another Murloc on board for Seer or War Leader, because it's unlikely that blitzchung will play anything for the Hogsteed to trade into.
blitzchung here, no Glowfly in hand, no Overgrowth, and no further card draw, so it's just going to be another turn of removal. I would expect to just see probably Hero Power, Moonfire on the... sorry, wrong order. Moonfire on the 2-1 and Hero Power down the resulting 1-1. Alternatively...
Would you Crystal Power the Toxfin as well? Or is that overkill?
Actually, I don't hate it, because we're going into turn 3, where the minions are going to get more payoff, either from the Seer or War Leader, both conveniently in hand for us to note.
Time waits for no one.
And if either of those minions comes down, he can then just Fog Beam it away.
Yeah, going with this line maybe makes more sense in a way, because it means that they are left with no Murlocs at all on this turn.
Yeah, it's very smart. I like this.
Yeah.
It
Obviously, you're taking a touch more damage, but I think that's fine.
It is just a touch, and now DawN can just... Yikes. I was looking at the Hand of Adal there, honestly, and like a Hungry Crab as a 1-2.
Insane.
He knows he's in a good spot.
Aye.
That gesture is just from a man who's won.
Yeah. To be honest, what do you expect when you're up against Murloc Paladin?
Boy, you're so cold-hearted, Derek. Okay, we could just see another stall for 5, but probably not now. I would like to see the overflow get that out of the way.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I guess you do just want to try and hit the Mount Seller or whatever for the following turn. Or just cards. It's just good.
Yeah, just cards. Turns out Druid cards are just good.
Oh, is he hitting the double bog beam?
That is a lot of commitment.
Is that worth it?
I couldn't tell you.
I guess he's got very powerful plays outside of Mount Seller anyway. He doesn't have to go too all in on that.
I'm just thinking, what was the punish there? I guess you can expect reasonably a Cold Light Seer or a Vile Fiend. What's it called? Navigator? Vile Fiend Navigator? But even so, he could have cleared either of those health totals off with Double Bog Beam Moonfire.
Yeah, the big punish, I think, was maybe Scale Lord, just to give Divine Shield to the Murloc. But even then, if he chose to overdraw one card by not playing anything, he could have then gone Mount Seller, Moonfire, Bog Beam. He would have taken a lot of damage, to be fair, so maybe it's playing with fire a little bit too much. It's safe, this play. It's safe.
Seeing as blitzchung immediately went for the Glowfly here,
yeah.
Maybe he was really just hoping for that off the top to solidify that game plan. Because if you're going for turn, then it's fine to expend the spells and not use them with Mount Seller. The only player from blitzchung I might question so far throughout the day. So he can trade off 2 of... Oh, everything sucks.
I wonder.
He's not even got enough mana to play the Elfin and the Cold Light.
Yeah, everything is not awesome.
Sounds like a terrible song.
I must move quickly.
And also a terrible
Kind of the point
Murloc
of the
card.
joke. Yeah. Everything is not awesome.
You hear about that new spell for Druid?
It literally does nothing. It's not awesome.
Reporting for duty.
Well, Savage Roar. It's a little bit short, I think.
Is it
I think he's 1 off with the Moonfire.
15 plus 12? I agree, yeah, 1 off.
So he's gonna start with a draw, hunt for, I guess, Power of the Wild.
What to do?
Yeah,
Or
he's
the
already
other Savage Roar.
played the other Moonfire.
Or he
I
could
mean,
just go for the
it
Mount
doesn't
Seller. There's
matter.
no
It
out, and
just
yeah,
doesn't
it
matter.
really doesn't.
There's no way he can lose this.
Agreed. Even if he had a sudden power outage and DawN had like 2 turns to attack, it still wouldn't be lethal. blitzchung just came back on the 3rd turn.
He could even do a terrible play like this and still win. I'm joking.
Time waits for no one.
I mean, you did say, just for the sake of storylines, that you were hoping that blitzchung would take this, but you gotta feel for DawN. It's just so hard to get wins with these decks.
Yeah, I mean, I will say as well that it's not only for the sake of the storylines, it's also because I feel blitzchung really deserves it after his play today. He has been playing,
True.
I think, the best out of anyone so far today. It's not like anyone else has been making a whole bunch of mistakes. I think the play overall has actually been of a very high level. You know, you can argue because it's different this week. Murloc Paladin is definitely an easier deck than a lot of the other warriors and demon hunters that we've been seeing at the top end. But I think overall the play has been very high. But blitzchung has just been seeing these weird little lines and very unique styles of play that I think have been absolutely spot on.
Yeah, also just the small optimizations in all of the aggro matchups.
Yep.
He's finding orders on trades, and he's able to consistently, very quickly figure out which are the most efficient trades for him. And I think that really speaks to his experience and his namesake. He's called Blitz for a reason.
And now with only one deck left that he has to get a win with, or I should say only one more win he needs to get. He has 2 decks from which to choose. And I believe after, the Druid and the Priest have got a win, he's now left with the Shaman and the Paladin. So taking a look at his specific build of Shaman, because I believe the Paladin is just a pretty standard Murloc Paladin, nothing too fancy going on there. His build of I was going to say of Shaman is maybe a little bit more interesting, but I just got word he's not even going to be playing it. It's going to be a Paladin Mirror instead. And maybe the reason why is because we see 2 little crabs sitting at the bottom of blitzchung's deck.
2 little crabs on the other side as well. This has the makings for a nursery rhyme. It will be kind of a crab fiesta, I suppose, but as far as these mirrors go, I would like to see either both players get the crabs or neither, because if one player gets them, it just can be such an early game blowout.
I think even though you are obviously looking far and away for crab as the most important card, I really like keeping a Sungill there for DawN because it's the best 1-drop that you have available. And with, I think that was crab off the top for both players, we've at least got some kind of equality here between the number of crabs.
Yes. You don't play equality in Paladin, you just both play crabs.
Ah, yes. The all 1 crab, 2 crab, blue crab, blue crab.
Can't wait for the song version for me to teach my kids in the future. Anyway, Fish Flinger off the on curve here for DawN, but it looks like he's actually gonna go for the second Sungill. The willingness to go off curve really speaks to the importance of that card in the matchup.
Yeah, I guess it's stronger against a fair few of blitzchung's plays, like obviously the Hogsteed Rider and Coin Weapon, both of which didn't have a target, so I don't mind it.
Well, with 2 crabs, surely it's time to rip one.
Yeah, I definitely expect to see crab come down here.
Let me think.
Question is just Fish Flinger versus Hand of Adal. If we're gonna be very nitpicky about it, one of those 2 cost cards should have gone first in the turn because they both give you a new card in hand.
Sure.
But
that is very nitpicky.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a crab to do with that last remaining mana.
And as often feels the case, he who crabs first, crabs hardest, because blitzchung's in response just gets value traded pretty nicely here. I think it's like pretty obvious that it just doesn't work out as well.
Blitzchung is just coining out a 4/4 that has got to feel awful.
Oh, this crab is so powerful, I think I can see into the future. Oh my god. I guess he has to trade something in first as like the one weakness, but this is just over. Oh my god.
Okay, he's got a Sludge Slurper. That's a pretty good result. So if that can give Ethereal Lackey into Consecrate, there could be a shot if he's not just dead by then. Right. Asking a lot though.
Okay, holding back on the crab.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it's always going to be good. There is no scenario where it's bad. Did he not play second hand?
Yeah, I don't know. What's he saving it for?
I guess the thing is with this matchup, you run out of cards so quickly most of the time that you will be able to spend it on a better turn later on. And I guess whatever you hit may just get crabbed, is his
I guess. But that is not a hugely impactful Lackey.
Yeah.
Does a decent job on this board, but one War Leader could just steal everything. Even
There's
without
just so
it.
many powerful things here. Like, Toxfin is insane. Hungry Crab. Do you even go for it here? I guess it spends your mana pretty well. Go with the hand first to see what you hit, maybe.
I do enjoy spending my mana.
Yeah.
Okay, still holding back. Crab. What are the outs for blitzchung? I can see maybe the weapon into the 3-2 doing something.
I think that outs are just go first, noob. Because it definitely feels like that's what puts you in such an advantage in this game.
Oh man, Derek, you called me a noob and a simp today. And I've only called you dumb twice.
We got to step up our game. Those are rookie numbers. We got to boost those numbers.
The scale lord, I'm done. But you know what? DawN isn't done. Because that is just gonna be his first win of this season. So he will have to cue something else up and land a win with that versus blitzchung's Murloc Paladin.
Oh, a game so powerful, he only needed the one crab. That is a power play right there.
Victory is
Well,
Yeah, I don't even know if there were any outs at all there.
that was a game of Hearthstone.
It was indeed, and thankfully now the Paladin is out of the way for DawN. Very possibly we will see the Paladin again from blitzchung. But having said that, it's a deck with 2 Hungry Crabs in against classes that don't run Murlocs anymore, because obviously the Paladin is out of the way for DawN. So maybe we'll see him pivot onto the Shaman now to take a win with instead.
Yeah, I can see that happening. It really just depends which drag you feel more comfortable with. And honestly, Derek, I couldn't tell you. I would be inclined to go for Shaman, but I feel like it's had an even lower win rate than Paladin today. And that's saying
Maybe.
something.
Yeah. The lists, I think, are not quite there. Again, I think there's improvements that could be made across the board with these Shaman decks. But I agree. If you're losing the early game, it's bad for Paladin, but it's almost even worse for Shaman, because if you're falling behind and then you're just playing out Manatide, playing out Flame Tongue, it's just game over. Your opponent eats it up and you don't stand a chance. So maybe for blitzchung, because of how bad the Shaman is, it's worth just trying to get a good outcome with the Murlocs.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but I do like that we have this whole dynamic of having a fallback deck, because it is 4 decks post-ban for Conquest. So it kind of adds a layer of difficulty for the player on the back foot, because the player who only needs to get 1 more win can easily pivot around.
But blitzchung is sticking with his guns here and going with Murloc Paladin yet again. Henge Clan Hogsteed, kind of an interesting keep against Zoo, I feel, where most of their early game minions, I would argue, trade fairly favorably against Hogsteed.
If we're looking at Squire and Void Walker, yes, but Flameant, I can see.
I guess Flame, yeah.
But I also find the keep a bit weird, because blitzchung was on the play. I feel like it's a bit too reactive of a keep. I feel like in this matchup, if you're going first, the most important thing is being able to curve out better. And I would have liked him hard mull for 1 drop. He did get it anyway.
So the 2 kind of diverging paths I'm seeing here, with maybe a couple of optimizations that could be made, are basically 1 drops or coin egg into Evil Genius.
Yeah. The other 1 drop or anything but Beaming Sidekick, I would advocate for the egg, but I think this sets up a very, very powerful board.
Sure. Yeah, there's not really any punishes to this line of play. Hand of Adal and Hogsteed both just don't kill the Flame Imp, so DawN can start doing what Zoo does best and get value trading.
So here's an inclusion in blitzchung's deck which we haven't seen necessarily in other Murloc Paladins, which is the Blessing of Kings. I feel like that could be an advantage if he's able to stick a minion. It's the same story as all the Shamans, all the Paladins today. If you stick something, the payoff is absolutely incredible. But if you don't, suddenly all the cards in hand become kind of bad.
Definitely not the best situation for blitzchung, but what he needs to do above all else is just stick that Blessing of Kings. As long as he can move towards that and get that down, I think he's definitely in with a good shot at taking this game.
And maybe he gets the window for that if DawN's turn is just going to be a bit slower, like just Serpent Egg. I would imagine that that's his first instinct because it's the most natural mana curve. Because the next turn you can go Evil Genius, then any Lackey or one of the 1-drops. Whereas if you go double 1-drops this turn, then the turn 3 becomes a bit awkward. But of course, the 1-drops this turn trade much better onto the board.
So many
Tough decision.
In the end, going with the eggs. I think this does make sense. Most of the lackeys, I think, even if he does fall behind on board here, which I think won't happen, the lackeys should be able to wrestle that back for him fairly easily.
True enough. So blitzchung can develop a minion with shield or 2 minions. I think for this matches, for all intents and purposes, it's basically 2 minions either way. I feel like I'd be inclined to get the McGurgle down as soon as possible, just to have the prime in the deck as soon as possible.
I do also make that point of it gets the prime in, or maybe he can draw the prime for the out. It's not really a thing, though, is it? Let's be honest.
It's all a thing. But the thing is, the other play of the Tide Hunter provides a single target that's not sticky for value trading, and then he would have ended up with 2 minions anyway.
The light protects me.
And I can see this Nightshade Matron getting in a lot of work, even played without a Hand of Gul'dan. It's just pretty insane in this matchup.
Yeah. Should be very, very powerful.
Finally, blitzchung gets to play Blessing of Kings. Probably onto
it's
the
pretty good.
Murgurgle.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Or he could kill off the Murgurgle and then just have a 5/5 and trade over the 3/4. I think that the difference between a 6/5 and a 5/5 is not very relevant in this matchup. You'd rather just have as much health as possible. Given that they both have high health, might be worth it to just shuffle the prime ASAP.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that you really want to trade the Mermy into the Flame Imp to take out that 3 damage.
Thinking the 2/1 into the Flame Imp and then buff Mermy go into the Serpent Egg.
I see your point. I think as unlikely as it is to... I feel like it's more likely to matter that you have +1 attack than you shuffle in Murgurgle Prime 1 turn earlier.
Okay. Here's another argument though, because if you trade in the Mermy, that suddenly leaves a 1/1 on the board that the Evil Genius can go to into.
Fair enough.
But he's diverting altogether for going the Blessing of Kings to instead take a value trade. This is...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't very good on that board. It just got cleaned up very easily. Not that this is especially better, to be honest.
It's not... I mean... Really tough to fault blitzchung on this, but I was thinking at least play the Kings while it's guaranteed to get you 2 trades. And then he could go Tide Hunter Coldlight the next turn.
Sure.
Versus here, I don't know if the Kings will ever come down on an attacking minion ever again.
Yeah, not entirely sure about the decision to trade that way to have a 5/3 and a 3/3 instead of a 5/4 and a 3/2, because it does allow the weapon to take out the Nightshade. Having said that, I think blitzchung is playing 1 true silver as well, so I guess that makes it a little bit more acceptable to trade this way. It's close.
There really is all of these micro decisions that affect.
Really are. I mean, that could have been a big deal if a 5/5 had been left, a 5 attack instead of a 3 attack had been left around.
Absolutely. Speaking of big deal though, DawN can value trade the Serpent into the 2/1 and evolve it if he wants. Good also to start looking for a spell.
Dark Portal, sure.
Probably just gonna be the Unstable Fellbolt. Unless you could
probably
buff his
Demon Fire,
Voidwalker.
actually, I reckon.
Yeah, sure, yeah. That fills out the rest of the turn pretty nicely, huh?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, you're probably value trading with the snake, witching it up.
Yep.
Yikes. Yeah, that is a terrible, terrible 4-drop. Wow.
Huh. And he just decides not to play the Voidwalker altogether.
Yeah. It's close.
Okay, so he's probably starting by attacking the summoning portal? Question mark. Or okay, he could attack a 1-drop, not 2/1, and then hopefully get a cheap minion to play 3 Murlocs this turn, 2 of which will kill the summoning portal.
Oh, you mean Henge Clan and Bluegill? Yeah.
But at the same time, it's probably better to cash in the blessing while it's available on a rushed minion.
Yeah. I would tend to agree.
Okay. So since he didn't attack with the weapon at all, I mean he didn't attack with it first, I guess he's not attacking at all. Which I think is fair. Nothing on board urgently needs killing. You save it for a better target. And the Murloc, as far as you can see, still survives the 4 damage on board.
Oh, I think you attack. I think you're supposed to attack here. You just need to get this to stick around, right, till next turn. How much better of a target are you going to get to hit even into next turn?
There's a few,
Decides
right?
against it.
Literally anything with more than 1 health is a better target, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's more about attack, and it's a pretty crucial turn to get something to stick around. Maybe
Sorry
not.
about that. So the Og Merchant doesn't help because everything has 1 health. But
Yeah,
it can
now-
just deal the last 1 damage. Or we could just Demon
Trade
Fire
Demon
first.
Fire, yeah. It was a bit harder if the weapon went in, but obviously then it means something couldn't be taken out on this turn, so maybe it's not even better. I don't know. Stuff to
Great
say.
use the Og Merchant from DawN here. It's a weapon,
Yep.
awkward to use.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, that's the punish for not hitting last turn.
Yeah.
Right. 3 guys.
Yep.
One of them can kill the Voidwalker.
3/5 of the way to a burger. You're doing a great job here, Murlocs.
This kind of feels like one of the games you might play in the tutorial.
That's what this entire weekend has felt like here.
The Raider, the Bluegill, and the Cold Light.
Ugh.
Pretty sure that's in a lot of the basic decks.
Blitzchung just saying, just you wait until I get to 10 mana.
Okay, so he can buff up the health on one of these and take a value trade into the Bluegill. He can generate. I mean, he can play Demon Fire.
This is my suggestion.
See, that's a Bloodfen Raptor. This is the tutorial.
Hey, I got you, friend.
Yeah, just taking out everything you can. I think the out for Blitzchung is if he can hit McGurgle Prime in the next 1, maybe 2 turns, he's possibly in the lead.
Possibly. The Scalar isn't half bad though. It's just a well-statted minion. Lets him take a value trade against Zephyrus.
Yeah.
I'm on board. Seems better than True Silver. But to be completely realistic, DawN now has 3 hands of cooldown, even if he doesn't draw a good activator, which I think
Right.
it's just the 1 Nightshade remaining now.
Agreed.
He could just play them straight up for 6 mana, and it's a Skull of Gul'dan, and it's still good.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't play the one on the outside, so of course it was an outcast, and they just cost full value.
It is just Skull of Gul'dan.
Exactly.
And there's the Matron. So the other one can be outcasted. blitzchung even do? I really hope we see the Murgurgle Prime, just so he's got a shot back into the game.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting here that DawN's holding off on the 1-drops and instead going with the egg. I think that's probably in no small part that he's almost guaranteed a carpet in the next couple of turns.
Wait, Ethereal, could it be?
Which he really wants to have the 1-drop.
Wait a minute.
Reporting for duty.
Wait, blitzchung could win this. Because there's not that much reactivity in DawN's hand. He doesn't have a way to
Okay.
kill the 5/6. Oh wait, the 1/1 was
Well, he's
left
got-
up. Yeah.
He's got Nightshade Matron, which is a
I was
pretty good start.
expecting blitzchung to trade into the 1/1.
Yeah.
There's a carpet though. That's gotta. Oh, and the taunt.
Is it definitely the carpet on this turn?
He's got the other one, so I think yes.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you could go like Bluegill plus Scrap Imp on this turn to set up powerful swings, but yeah, I think you just don't get too fancy and play the carpet.
Useful things.
So English first. Yeah, good order. And then he can figure out how the rest of the trades go after. Oh, I was expecting this to go into the 5/6 because he could still play another, like the Blazing Battle Mage and kill the 5/6,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Isn't that
Okay,
better?
fair enough. Yeah.
He can't develop a taunt there, but the taunt basically does nothing if he's leaving the 5/6. Okay, he could do this. I feel like it wasn't ideal.
I think there were better trades there. I
Yeah.
agree.
Like he could have left his 5/5 alive and not had a taunt, but he wasn't being threatened with lethal. But that is the absolute nuts draw for blitzchung. In the box. Subpar.
I don't know. Getting a Scargill is pretty good. Obviously, the Dormant is awful, but
Yeah.
everything else is okay. Maybe enough to get there. He's just got lethal unless he clears off a lot of this damage.
Even there's 2 1-drops and a rushing bluegill.
I don't know if that's enough.
And the flame imp damages it. Oh, that's huge! That lets him get lackeys to rush. Oh my gosh.
So you can go Battle Mage, take a VT, kill it with the
Right?
Genius.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think that you're not even touching the mermaid. Oh, really? Because that takes 3 trades.
That takes
before
3 hits. Yeah, you're never
before it
killing
even
that.
removes damage.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But the taunt is
Titanic Rack
huge here.
Yeah, you're right. Insane. Okay. He can play Witchy, Flame Imp, and the Bluegill. I think all of those are happening. It's gotta be fast.
The sun well.
So
He's got to go really fast. Oh, is he going to have enough time? He can take out the Scargill. Yep, that seems smart.
yeah. And then he can take out the Prime with the 2/1 and then the 3/4. Or he could speed it up. Oh, this seems unnecessarily risky. Now blitzchung has a 2-turn with the True Silver. Are you kidding me? He just goes 6-3-1-1
Yep.
into carpet.
Yep,
and then,
yep.
Oh man, I think that could have been a crucial error for DawN leaving up the
I
6-3.
think he could have taken that. I think these last couple of turns have just been DawN just letting the pressure, the time pressure from the rope getting the better of him.
I have to agree. Are there any outs left? Does he still have a Void Walker maybe? Nope.
Don't
That's
think so.
GG. Unless
He can't
there's
kill his
something-
opponent.
He could still tap, but I don't see it.
Evil Genius. He's already played both.
Oh, that could have been a huge slip up from DawN's end. And now blitzchung, rightfully so, very happy and I think very well played throughout the entire day. Gets to make it to top 4. Still has that dream to maybe get a last minute Division 8 placement.
The dream is alive now for blitzchung, and you got to feel bad there for DawN. That is absolutely brutal there to go out in that fashion. I think you and I can both agree there were things he should have done differently in terms of trades on the last turn, even the second to last turn. That he had any real choices. There were some slight trades that maybe on closer inspection could have been done a bit better. But I've got to say, again, I am so happy for blitzchung. I think he played today incredibly well. and is a very deserving competitor to have a chance to go through in Division A.
That's right. And that means I think we've cemented almost all of our Division A and Division B. It's now probably just 2 slots on each, or 1 slot on each that we're not sure of. Now it's a race between blitzchung and Chonsu for that very last spot in Division A.
That's right. DawN, unfortunately for him, as we can take a look at the bracket, is guaranteed to be in Division B when we head into round robin next week. It is just between blitzchung and Chonsu, and it is not entirely out of Chonsu's control because, he didn't make the top 8 this week, so it is entirely out of Chonsu's control. I will restate that. It's entirely in blitzchung's hands. If he wins, he is through in Division A. The entire thing, he has to come first, and if he does not, then we are going to see Chonsu going through in Division A. It's going to be a very close one indeed, and if he's been playing anything like today, it's going to be an absolute treat watching blitzchung.
Right, and if anybody was wondering just how all of these tiebreakers panned out, because a lot of the players will be ending on the same amounts of points. So the first tiebreaker is actually which player had the best, in a single week, best placement. So Chonsu has not won a week. He's been up to 2nd place though, which is very good. But if blitzchung gets the 1st place spot for this weekend, then he will have the same point total as Chonsu and also win the head-to-head in terms of single week finishes.
That's right, yeah. It's been an impressive performance from Chonsu, it's got to be said. But overall, did he get the top 2? I think he might have only got top 4 overall instead of 2nd place. We'll have to check up on that, yeah. But either way, we'll get that sorted out. And it's been a very impressive performance from both players. I may be wrong there. Nonetheless, but that is going to be us all done, I believe, for today. It's been a very different meta, to say the least, that we've seen from the previous weeks. I definitely enjoyed watching some of it. Frosty's Mage springs to mind in particular as some of the craziest games that we got this week. But overall, what are your thoughts, Gia? What are you looking forward to tomorrow and Sunday?
First of all, my thought was, you're right, Chonsu did not make a top 2. Our week 1 top 2 was Rivia Surrender, and week 2 was Surrender Glory. It's very easy to remember when you recall that Surrender made top 2 both weeks. And yeah, I think it was a lot of fun seeing Shaman and Paladin. Maybe not so fun to watch Shaman fall flat on its face, but I'm very happy for the stellar performance of Druid this weekend. Any doubters can go be quiet now, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that tomorrow.
Yeah, as am I. I have converted to a true believer, Gia. You've brought me round to the way of Malfurion. I think it's still in with a very good shot at being one of the key contenders in a winning lineup. But that is going to be, as I said, us all done for APAC at least. We are going to send you over to Europe after this. And now is my favorite bit. I've always wanted to say this. Make sure to smash that subscribe button now that we are on YouTube. If you are enjoying Grandmasters content, plenty more to come over the coming weeks as we head into round robin next week. But as I said, now that we have our 2 players going through to the finals to the semi-finals, I should say, on Sunday in Glory and blitzchung, we're going to send you over to Europe with Raven and Sottle. Thanks for watching.